Lady of many talents, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
That's pretty awesome. What are you excited about, Brandon? What are you working on?
What am I excited about? Man, so many things. The fact that it's sunny now, I want to walk outside. I think it's gonna be a nice day for like thinking and walk. I think it's gonna
Heck
be
yeah.
excited for that. Some small things.
I like that. I like that.
Yes, yes.
We got a great surprise for the crew today, and I'm excited to share it. Shall we tell them now or shall we wait?
Ooh, you can tell him now.
Tell them now?
Yeah.
All right. If you guys want to hear the surprise now, just say now in the chat. I got to see who's awake. Just going to see now. I see you, Tom. I see you, Patrick. Looking at my YouTube. All right. We'll let you on a little secret then. I got to get my YouTube. There we go. Hey, what's up, Jerry? What's up, Miranda? Said now. I have a very special guest today. We've never done this before in like a co-host way. We've done this in terms of guests before, but we have two very special and exciting things that we're doing today. Number one, the producer is the incredible Brandon Fertino. Shout out, Brandon, in the chats. And secondly, I have a father-daughter duo who are going to come on after the Market Watch update. And we got lots of live leads to dial. We got lots of work to get to. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Except in a few moments, I'm going to be bringing on someone who's going... Hey, Brandon disappeared. Thank you, Brandon. I'm going to be bringing on someone who has gotten us credit lines and who is going to talk about business funding. He's going to talk about ways to access funding for your real estate deals. But while that's often what he leads with, he's someone who is a dear friend of mine and has a great heart. He's part of our mastermind community. And I'm going to be bringing him up here about halfway through the show today. And him and his incredible daughter, Yasmin, are going to be co-hosting with me. And I believe you're going to have so much fun meeting them. Something that I was sharing with you. So good to see you, Angela. I love the bright yellow, looking sunny. Good to see you, Tom and Marlon. Roseanne, how are you? Welcome in. That's who's on my screen right now. Welcome in. So we have a lot to get to today. We have multiple new leads to call. I'm excited to call these leads for Jane and for No and for, gosh, I think we got 3 or 4 different students who have submitted deals, and we're going to be getting to those. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be reviewing some deals together. Angela is working on a large deal, and we're going to be talking about that. I got a lot to cover, a lot to get to. But first, we have the Market Watch update. And as those of you who have been here, you know, we start off with a Market Watch update, and then we dive into live dials today, co-hosting, and some cool learning, and then more live dials. So I don't know if we'll get into live dials in the first few minutes before I bring up my co-host, but get ready to take lots of notes and learning, and we will get to live dials before the day is out. If you're ready, give me an oh yeah in the chat. Got to see who's ready. What are you drinking? I got to know what you're drinking, by the way. I'm drinking me some coffee. This is real stuff. This is not the decaf. By the way, somebody asked me why I drink out of a straw. Probably about 2/3 of you now know. About 1/3 of you who might be new here are going, why does he drink coffee out of a straw? I spent a lot of money getting my teeth looking like they look. They're real, by the way, not veneers. And so I take great pride in keeping them as much as I can, as and my coffee unfortunately makes them less white. So I drink coffee out of a straw about 95% of the time, and it takes me from having to do whitening strips monthly to about 2 to 3 times a year. So if you see me sipping coffee out of a straw, that's why. Welcome in. What's up, Diana? What's up, Jerry? What's up, Angela? What's up, Russell? What's up, Interesting name. It's so good to see you. The Market Watch update. Brandon, if we could, let's bring up that before we bring up the slide deck, let's bring up the news article. And this is the big news. A court strikes down the new Treasury residential real estate reporting rule, FinCEN. So all the hoopla that's been made around FinCEN, you can discount it for now. It was in effect for about 3 weeks, starting on March 1st. All of the FinCEN reporting rules, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, had this rule, and it was causing delays in closings and causing a lot of extra reporting. It has been struck down by a Texas court. And so for now, I'm not an attorney, don't claim to be. Check with your local real estate attorney for current state laws, etc. But right now, the FinCEN Reporting Act is not in service. It's not required. So good thing to know. By the way, that's what we do here. We keep you on the cutting edge. And I'm going to dive into a Market Watch update. We're testing something new. As I told you, we're going to play with a few things throughout March. And come April, we have an exciting update for the Deal Room Live. And every single week we come together, keep you on the cutting edge. We come together, we call your deals live, and we come together, and often I'll bring up a guest and we'll talk about life and business. Let's share this slide deck. I want to share something here. Rates currently still hanging in the high fives or low sixes, depending on what you're looking at. But I want to point out, type it in the chat, CTG. CTG. What is a CTG? A CTG is a creative transaction genius. I see you on the keyboard. I know YouTube has a slight lag, so I'm watching the comments on YouTube. I gotta wait for the CTGs to kick in. All right. By the way, what's your actual name? I see someone, MEAH. What's your actual name, my friend? I want to be able to call you by name. I want to call out my YouTube folks. If you're on YouTube and this is your first time watching, just put a 1 in the chat. If you're on YouTube or anywhere, I know my Zoom folks, you're part of the coaching community, so you've been here before. If you're on YouTube and it's your first time watching, just put a 1 in the chat. If you've seen me before, just put a 2 in the chat. I want to see who our new folks are, call you out and get to know you. Be a CTG. Market intelligence deal engineering is in a volatile area. And I want to share this with you because this doesn't scare you. It shouldn't scare you. This should actually make you excited because people of wealth get to run in while other people run out. And going to the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about market volatility. Now, you know, all that has to happen is the president sends a truth social and markets, stock markets go up and down it's all predictive anyway. And so now they're looking at news articles and now you have a direct connection because normally what a president announces at a news conference or something is going to affect the markets in a big way. It always does. Now you look at the war in Iran and what's going on. It's not so much about the rates, it's about volatility. And so there is buyers who are on the sidelines because, in fact, I was just talking to someone this week, one of our community members. They have a buyer who wants to buy their condo, but they're worried because they don't want to move for 60 days. And they said, I can't lock in rates for that long. And I don't know what the rates are going to be in 60 days. So the volatility becomes, type it in the chat, opportunity. Volatility equals opportunity. As people of wealth, we look for the place where everybody else is being concerned. What's up? Breaky? Good to see you. Watched before. John, good to see you. Tyreek, good to see you. Mark, it's your first time here. Welcome. Veterans Property Solutions. Hey, I like the name. It's your first time here and welcome. You're going to love this. Thank you for your service. First off, assuming you're a veteran. And second off, we got several people in the community who their mission is to provide veterans with housing. I love that. So going to the next slide, the payment. This is a big thing. If you don't have it, by the way, a cool tool that every one of you should have downloaded on your phone is called EZ Calculator. The letter E, the letter Z Calculator. And this is a little app you have on your phone where you can go in and you can run mortgage numbers and on the mortgage calculator. And it helps you a lot. But right now, with mortgage payments, principal and interest is often 65 to 70% of the payments. But with taxes and insurance and HOA fees, you got another 30% of the payment there. And so traditional landlords are finding it hard to make cash flow. One reason I love buy slow, which, by the way, even traditional investing, you get appreciation, depreciation, inflation helps you, all sorts of opportunities and ways to make money, even with traditional investing. In fact, while we normally don't buy a traditional way with 20% down, over the last decade, I need you all vote here. What do you believe? Some of you have heard this, so you got a head start. What do you believe the last decade your cash on cash return would have been over 10 years, not annually, over 10 years, if you bought a house, a rental property traditionally in the US, put 20% down and held it and rented it for a decade? Guess what your average return would be buying the traditional way over a decade? It's actually quite an impressive number. Using leverage. Type it in the chat. What do you think your return would be over 10 years? 6% a year. Okay. Somebody else. What do you think your return? It's not a trick question. Need 3 more votes. What's up, Lauren? Good to see you. Shobna, 15% a year. Marlon says 8% a year. Good. Roseanne says 10% a year. Good. 25%. Buying traditionally with 25% down and renting them. Of course, you know I don't like the headache that come along with being a traditional landlord. But assuming you bought traditionally over the last decade, your cash on cash return over 10 years would have been 465%. Not annually, 465% over the decade. What the heck? That's a big number. Now, I share that with you because as we look here, I'm going to give you what many consider bad news, the shift of insurance costs and looking at the opportunities that are around us. We can go to the next slide, Brandon. By the way, shout out to Brandon for hopping in here and being producer on this beautiful Wednesday. Thank you for covering for us. I know the incredible Stephanie is out hosting an event, and I just thank you for hopping in and crushing it. Brother, I appreciate. By the way, Brandon, if you guys don't know, he has ran some of our organic content for over a year as well. And Brandon is just a master at his craft, a man of many talents, as you're seeing today. And so with insurance costs and everything changing, a lot of people put fear in the market around that. I see massive opportunity. You get to see massive opportunity. We don't buy like we sell, and we don't sell like we buy. We buy owner finance. We don't usually need to put 20% down, and we sell lease option, which means on average, the day our tenant buyer moves in, we get 10% on average non-refundable option deposit. So go on to the next slide, brother. I want to show you this because the stats, as you see them, show, number one, by the way, there's not nearly as many foreclosures as the doomers have been saying. The opportunity, the outlook is so powerful. It is, in my opinion, never been a better time to invest in real estate than right now. And there's rising year over year credit card delinquencies and increased, how many how much credit card debt there is in the US? Type it in the chat. What do you believe? What do you guess the national credit card debt to be? Take a guess. Type it in the chat. 5 billion. Okay, good. Keep them coming. I need 5 more votes. Some of my YouTube folks. What do you believe the credit card debt is nationwide? 456 trillion, 35 trillion. We're getting closer. It is 1.39 trillion. Now, while I know we hear national debt thrown around like it's nothing of $30 trillion, that's a lot of zeros. And with credit card debt increasing and with $50 trillion in equity locked up in houses, we are in incredible opportunity, this transfer of wealth, to get on the right side of it. So the new supply is delayed. And I share this because many people who have, you can go to the next slide, who have put their houses on the market and it didn't sell are pulling them off the market. So we're not seeing the massive foreclosure wave that people think with the institutional offloads that are happening. People were predicting, oh my gosh, institutions are going to have to list all their properties and the economy is the housing market's going to drop. You know what started happening when institutions started listing some of their properties in the last few days, couple weeks? They started getting multiple offers because there's so much pent up demand. We've never been at this place before. It's a very different place than previous markets. You can go to the next slide. I like stats. Average days on market in 2021 was 17 to 21 days, and often there were above asking price retail offers coming in. 2024, it was up to over a month. Now we're up to 45 to 50 days, which, by the way, in the scope of normal time is not that long. We're still massively underserved. There still needs to be way more properties in order for us to meet the demand. Of course, the doomers are saying, oh my gosh, we knew that it's crashing. It's not crashing, and there is better opportunity in a buyer's market. All right. Next slide. A couple more slides to go, and then I have something exciting for you guys. For those of you who are just joining us, I have two incredible guests today that are going to be joining us. It is a father-daughter duo who are going to be sharing some really cool stuff with you about their businesses and what they're working on. And they're going to be a huge inspiration to you. And then we got lots of dials to do. I see for No, I've seen some of the leads you put in. I'm excited to dial those for you and for the others of you who have submitted leads. So we're going to be hanging out here for a while. Yasmin, so good to see you, my friend. And I hear you're out traveling the country. So thank you so much for taking time to hop in and chill with us. So the affordability thing, you hear all the time, affordability crisis, they call it. Everything's a crisis, right? The affordability crisis, you know what it means? It means opportunity for you as a CTG. We just got to be better at making offers. Type it in the chat, the walkaway offer, the walkaway offer. Guys, this changes everything. I have practiced this for years. I call it the walkaway offer. A seller will want more down than I want to pay and more for the property, and I do what's called the walkaway offer. You will be shocked when you present it the right way. And by the way, presentation is everything. How many people will come back and take your offer? You can go to the next slide. Understand how to structure a deal that works. Understand how to be a creative transaction genius. We buy houses one of two ways. We get massive discounts to pay for cash, or, and most often, most importantly, we buy with payments over time. If you can solve the seller's problems, you will have more deals than you can even keep up with. And Andrew, what if I can't sell them? They're easy to sell if you make them easy to buy. Let's go down to, because I realize the market update is taking longer than I structured in. Let's go down to playbook 3, then the third slide from the bottom, Brandon. Structuring buyer affordability. Understand when you buy these things on owner financing and wraparound mortgages with low and no interest rates, you can turn around and sell them on lease options and still net substantial money. Buyers have not disappeared. There's still a massive shortage of houses available. It's just a matter of being able to structure it in a way that allows buyers who want to buy now to buy. So we are in an exciting time. You can remove the slide deck. Thank you so much, Brandon. We are in an exciting time. The market, I wouldn't say it's getting easier. I would say that it is getting more favorable to smart investors. That's how I would structure it. And so it may feel unfair. Understand how to play the game. I get it. If someone is brand new and starting out and it's like, crap, I'm not yet a smart investor. I get it. But if you're smart and you're an investor, hang out with crowds like this and you become a smart investor really freaking fast. So the people who are doing it wrong and overpaying for properties and people who were buying and paying almost retail and appreciation was making up for their dumb decisions while they rehab the property, those days are over. But people who know how to structure deals, people who know how to buy houses and turn them to cash and cash flow, well, we're just getting started. So we're going to get to live dials in a moment. But before we do, I have something very special I've been excited to share with you. I want to remind you, by the way, if you have a question, put it in the chat. We will be answering questions all day today while we are live. Myself and my co-hosts, Yasmin and David, are going to be answering questions. So if you have questions, put them in the chat with a Q in the front of them. We have lots of leads to get to. There's something I wanted to do very special today. Like I told you, all throughout March, we're going to be testing formats because we have a brand new rollout starting. Holy cow. Is next week April? Is that shoot? I can't believe that. You guys ready for the third quarter? That's crazy. So we're going to be sharing some things with you. I'm getting ready to do live dials in a moment, but a new format, something I want to test is with our guest today, they're going to be co-hosts. It's a father-daughter duo, and there's somebody who are not only masters at the real estate investing business, and you have so much to learn from these guys, but they're also masters at business credit funding and getting you lines of credit. If you had access to $100 to $300 additional $1,000, $100 to $300,000 additionally that you don't currently know about, would you want to find out about it? That would be a yes. All right. I'm going to wait for the chats to catch up. That would be a yes. I hope you say yes. If not, just dismiss my co-hosts. All right. Yes. Okay, good. So we are going to be sharing with you how this can happen. But more importantly, in addition to that, I don't want them, that's going to be like 2 minutes of what they talk about. Okay, maybe 5. They do master classes about business credit funding. They host meetups in Texas. I'll let them tell you about them because nobody's more qualified than they are. I will also, though, point out that as my co-hosts, David and Yasmin, they are incredibly brilliant at real estate investing in general. Yasmin being an incredible young lady who her first flip house, you guys know me, I'm not big on fixing flips, but this one was an exception, netted her over $300,000. We can make an exception for that. All right. And David, otherwise I call him Mr. Prosperity. They're part of our mastermind community, who has been wholesaling deals and been in the game. He loves his cars, by the way. Him and Yasmin, I bet they'll talk about cars too. So if you have a car question, just put it in the chat. So you're going to learn so much from these two beautiful people, and you're going to get to ask your questions and get them answered. So put your questions in the chat with a Q in the front of them. Brandon will throw them up on screen here and there, and we'll be answering them. They're going to be teaching you guys about basically sharing their story of how they did this business, how they're doing wholesaling, how they've done fix and flipping, how they've now recently in recent years started adding terms to the business, how they get access to business credit lines, and they're going to change the way you think about money in this business. I assure you that. And rather than me normally jumping into live dials and then bringing on a guest at the end, I'm going to have these co-hosts come on and share some incredibly brilliant strategies with you, and then we're gonna hop over to live dials because I know some of you have to hop at the hour, and I got a feeling I'm going to be talking to sellers well past the hour. So I want to do by the way, do we have any questions in the chat, Brandon, before I bring up my co-host?
Yes, we have a couple. We got one right here from Nancy.
I don't know if it's you or me, but I can hardly hear you, brother.
We got Nancy here asking the question. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can. Perfect. Nancy, do we buy houses that they need rehab and we are not local? If the seller offers to do the rehab, do we consider that? The answer is consider it. Also, I would be very hesitant, Nancy. Now, if you're talking about you're buying a house in another state and it needs rehab, as in it needs carpet or it needs a roof, okay, maybe. If you're talking about it needs electrical and plumbing and literally a total rehab, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, because think about it this way. I talk about positioning yourself for success. Think about it this way. In fact, I would love to hear Yasmin and David's perspective on this as well when they come up, is when you're doing a house, you're buying, owner financing, or selling lease option, you have a couple places that can go wrong, right? When you underwrite it, you got to make sure you got the value right. When you close it with an attorney, got to make sure that you close them with an attorney. So that's done right. When you find your buyer, that's a couple places it could go wrong. You add to that putting carpet in the house. Well, now you got another place it could go wrong. You add to that putting a roof on the house. Now you have another place it could go wrong. You add to that fixing the electric of the house. Now you got another place that's going wrong. So you increase your chances tremendously that stuff will go wrong. And you best believe it absolutely will go wrong if you go rehab a house. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't rehab a house. It just means be cognizant of that and don't ever get starry-eyed partnering up with a contractor or with a seller believing that they're going to be able to do what they say, because there's a 99.99, okay, 100% chance they're lying to you. Do we have another question?
We got another one right here from Jerry.
What's up, Jerry? I have a property under contract in San Antonio, Texas. Don't work in Texas. I'm kidding. That's where David and Yasmin live. But found out a seller hired an agent to put it on the market behind my back. Should I just let it go? Well, it depends on the profit. If you already had a contract to purchase it and before you close, they hired a realtor, then that's going to be a chat with you and the seller. If it's more headache than it's worth, then yeah, let it go. But if there's a big profit and an opportunity, it'd be worth a chat with the seller and have them get a release from the realtor, especially if you have proof that your contract was before it was listed. All right, we got more deals to talk about. We're going to talk about Angela's deal, Fernand's deals, Jane's deals, Joe and Judas deals, and much, much more. So stick around. Before we do, I'm going to, for the first time ever in the history of the Deal Room Live, bring up two incredible co-hosts who are my dear friends. I absolutely adore these people, and you're going to learn so much from them. So let's see if we can get David and Yasmin to join me on screen. Give it up for David and Yasmin in the chat.
Hey, there we are.
How's it? Just got more handsome.
Everyone?
What's up? So good to see you both. So if you don't mind, just introduce each of yourselves and just run away the next 15, 20. Hang out, the two of you. I know you guys have lots of chats, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing this. There's going to be questions popping in the chat. Just interact and have a blast here. And Brandon will, from time to time, put the comments on the chat. We're going to try this new format for the next 15 or 20 here. And then I'm going to probably come back in and have some more questions for you before we live dial. You guys good to go?
Yeah,
sure.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Heck yeah.
So,
take it away.
Yasmin, ladies first. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Yasmin. I'm an investor and a business owner out of Houston, Texas. Love to travel, love to help people, and most importantly, I really, really love what I do. We do a lot of real estate investing, as well as we help entrepreneurs like you all here on the call secure multiple six figures in business funding.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I'll just add on to that. I'm David Selvin. I'm Yasmin's dad. So, Yasmin must respect me because I'm the dad. But we all know who the boss is. Everybody that knows us know Yasmin's really the boss, right? I just pretend to be the boss. And to make a long story short, I've got into real estate back in 2016. So, wow, coming on a decade now into real estate. I learned how to do creative deals when I met Andrew. I met Andrew about 3, 4 years ago. I'll never forget that day. We was on a party bus hanging out, and I'm showing him the money I'm making doing flips and wholesale deals. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. But look, I made this. And then on that same house, I made this. And then on the same house, I made this. And he was showing me how he got paid 3 times. And I said, I got to figure out what you're doing, Andrew. And he invited me to an event, and the rest is history. We're a part of the Freedom Life Mastermind, the high level coaching. And we love it. We love our community. It's like a family. And we're one big family. I see, for example, I see Fernand on here. I told Fernand he's officially part of the Selvin family, right? So, and I mean what I say, because that's exactly how we live. We live, our word is our bond. We do what we say we're going to do. And everybody in our community lives with the same mindset. And the great thing about the community is that everybody's just a touch away. And I would love to talk about how you got started into real estate, Yasmin, because somebody asked in the chat, how old are you? Right. So I
Hmm.
know my mama taught me never ask a lady their age. And sometimes I forget your age, even though I'm dad, right? But
Yeah.
why don't you tell them how old you are?
Yeah, so just recently made 27.
You had to
And
think
so
about
I
that. Uh-oh.
yeah, I know, right? I got started in real estate at 22. So I've been doing it for quite some time now. Never thought I would be doing real estate full time. I have since 22, I have not worked a job or anything like that. I've been doing real estate and our other business full time, which is a blessing, especially at my age, to be able to have that. So that's really great. I came home from college and was just unhappy there. It was around the time of COVID and just realizing it wasn't extremely fulfilling for me. And so I started exploring other options. But in the meantime, I was working minimum wage retail job at Target. And was unhappy there, of course, but I was just like, it's gonna be a stepping stone. And so my dad, he joked and he was like, "Oh, you should quit your job and come do this business with me." And I was like, "I don't know, I don't know." Most people that are younger, and for all of you, you guys can imagine being 22, thinking about working with your dad or your mom or whatever the case may be. It doesn't sound fun. And so one day I just said, you know what? I quit. And so I quit my job there at Target. And I want to say 2 months later, I got that fix and flip deal that Andrew mentioned, where I made over 300,000. And after that, I was hooked. I'm like, okay, the rest is history. This works. This business works. And it's a lot of fun. I enjoy what we do. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It is great. And it's so much fun working with my family, with the ones that I
Yeah.
love the most. Besides my wife, Yasmin is my best friend. So, being able for us to hang out every day, or, well, sometimes we hang out every day. Unfortunately, not every day because lately Yasmin wants to travel every other week. And so, I mean, like, where are you at now? You're in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, I'm in Louisiana. Actually,
So,
after this, I'm going down to the beach.
there you go, right? So she hangs out, and that's what and we're not saying this to try to how do you say it, brag or boast or
Yeah, both.
anything. I want people on here who may be new to real estate or maybe thinking about, like, you're on the fence about real estate. Real
Hmm.
estate really changed my life. And I'm not going to go deep into my backstory, but eventually, unless Andrew jumps on and say, hey, tell him your backstory, then I'll go knees in, right? But eventually you guys will meet me and you guys will learn about my backstory. But when I say real estate changed my life and changed our lives, changed Yasmin's life, it
Yeah,
changed the trajectory of our family. And I want everybody to understand that you can do this while you're hanging out in Louisiana. You can do this while we was hanging out in Las Vegas, what, 2 weeks ago, a week, whatever that was. I was in Nevada a month prior. You're traveling, we're going on cruises, we're doing so much stuff, and you
yeah,
can do this anywhere as long as you have internet service. If you have internet service, you have a laptop, you have a phone, you can do this business from anywhere in the world. And so that's what people really, really, really need to understand. But I first want to, and I know I'm shining the light on you, Yasmin, but
it's all good.
I want people to understand too, because a lot of people will say, "Yeah, easy for you," because I know you heard this before. Well, easy for you, your dad was already like the real estate guy and yada yada yada. They don't know. They don't know you earned your
Yeah.
keep, right? So,
Mhm.
kind of elaborate on that a little bit and that dynamic.
Yeah, so that is like a number one thing that I get since the first day I started doing this business up until now, even after my years of experience, is that, well, it's easy for you to say you have your dad to kind of hold your hand, or even most people are like, oh yeah, that's nice that your dad keeps you on payroll, to make you feel important and whatnot. But definitely our dynamic has always been that, you know, I'm gonna earn for now my dad's gonna be there to help me, but I know that always. But I know that I have to be extremely resourceful first, and be able to show that what, I exhausted all my resources, and now I need help. So for me, it was definitely like I had to learn the business. For me to get that deal, that first deal I got, it was probably like months of me just underwriting deals, seeing what makes sense. None of them were sticking, and then that one stuck, and I was, very excited, very grateful. But before I quit my job, I probably was kind of coming home doing real estate, like studying, educating myself, as well as underwriting a bunch of deals. After work, before work, on the weekends. So it was definitely months of me grinding, and then eventually just that one thing just sticking, and the rest is history.
Yeah. And Judith dropped in the comments about that deal, your first deal, how you
Yeah.
was told no and you did it anyways, because Judith kind of knows the backstory on that deal.
Yeah.
It was a time in my life where I was dealing with a little bit of depression, and I was just done. I was done with everything. I was just like, I'm not doing real estate. I'm not doing anything. No, everybody goes through those ebbs and flows in life. And I want you guys
Yeah.
to understand that when you get in that type of mindset, you got to shake that off and get back going.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful for you, Yasmin, because I know we've talked about this later on, but at the time you didn't know it. But you were so green that you were just like, nah, I'm doing this deal. Nah, look, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but this, like, probably like most people on this call, no, this deal's not gonna work because of this. No, it's not gonna because of whatever fear that you have. And I was dealing with
Yeah.
a lot of fear at the time because of some crap that I had just went through personally. And I want to let everybody know that you just keep pushing, and if the maths out, if the math is mathing,
Hmm.
as my kids say, right? Is the if the math is mathing, then the deal worked. The numbers don't lie, right? And
Yeah.
that's all she kept doing is looking at the numbers. She's like, the numbers don't lie. I underwrote this every which way. It makes sense. And the deal made sense. And it actually gave me for me to see what she did, it gave me my mojo back to get back in the game and get busy and make a lot of money. So I'm
Hmm.
truly grateful for you, Yasmin, for that.
Oh, thanks, thanks. And yeah, like David said, for everyone on the call, if you're scared to take that leap, just take it, because my mindset at that time was, well, worst case scenario, things don't work out, I'll be back to where I started at. So I'm not really taking a loss. It's just, but if everything works out, then, I'll be way more steps ahead than where I started. And so I think everyone should approach life with that mindset that wherever you're closer to where you want to go than, kind of stepping back from where you are. So just keep that in mind when you're pushing and, you're kind of getting a little discouraged during this process.
Well, let's talk about this because I'm in the office here in Louisiana hanging out, but at least I got these.
Yeah.
I got these stacks of credit, business lines of credit and credit cards. This book represents about, I don't know, $2.5 million in this book of
Hmm.
unsecured business funding. Whoa, let me see. Let me see if I can get that on camera. There we go. Unsecured business funding. Now, I'm not going to open them. Where's the camera? There it is. I'm not gonna open them too big. I don't know who's watching on YouTube or Facebook. I know everybody on here is cool, but who knows who's watching on YouTube and Facebook? So I'm not gonna
Hmm.
show you guys my card numbers, things like that. But that represents a lot of unsecured business funding. The best part about business funding, it does not report to your personal credit, so it does not affect your personal credit score or anything like that. Now, we figured out a way to get multiple lines of credit and take that and liquidate it and turn it from plastic to cash to do deals, to do marketing, to do other things, a lot of things that we do. So maybe we could talk about a case study or something.
Hmm.
I mean, if you guys want to hear something like that, drop it in the chat. Just let me know what you guys want to hear about the business funding and how we use that for down payments, marketing, things like that. So, for example, you may come across a deal where the seller says, "Yes, take over my debt, but I need 20,000 to move." You may have about 3 grand in closing costs, right? So now you got to come up with $23,000, and most people will now say, nah, you know what? I'm just not going to do the deal. Why? You know how many times I hear somebody say, well, I came across this good deal, but I'm not going to do it. Why? Well, I didn't have the money. They wanted 10 grand. I didn't have the money. I said, that's it? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, easy for you to say because you got this and you got that. And I'm like, no, let's walk through this together. Never worry about the how. As long as you put in the work, the how will reveal itself. There's no coincidence that I'm here talking about this. There's going to be some of you on here that needs to hear this message right now. And it's not a coincidence that myself and Yasmin and Andrew is on here talking about this stuff because it's the message at the right time. It's just the divine work in itself, right? That's what I truly believe, right? And so I would love for us to discuss how we do that, how we get that going, and maybe a case study on a deal we've done like that. You want to talk about that? Are you cool with that?
Um, yeah, yeah, I'll let you start it off. I'm
Okay.
flashing the light back on you.
Okay. Well, let's see. The first one that came to mind, because actually I was talking with somebody about this earlier, was the one we did in KC 718,
Hmm.
right? This deal, it came from a wholesaler. Now, I don't recommend buying from wholesalers. I recommend, not that you can't get a good deal, I recommend that you go straight direct to the seller. You will always get a better deal. And actually, before I touch on that, before I forget, I want to talk about the person who said something in the I can't remember their name, but they said something in the comment about the contract, about the realtor. They went and got a realtor, got the house listed with a realtor, but they had the property on the agreement. If your agreement supersedes that listing agreement, you can go get a memorandum of contract down at the county recorder's office and record that. Now to put a cloud on title. So if they try to sell that property, they will not even be allowed to sell that property without paying you. They won't be able to sell it with clear title, and they won't be able to. The title company will not be able to issue title insurance to the new buyer. So that's something to think about. But the first thing, like Andrew said, is have a conversation with that seller because there's no need to go to extremes unless it has to be brought to extremes, right? And I thought about that because I'm going back thinking about these deals, and sometimes we have to do that. And I'm also thinking about the deal where we bought it from a wholesaler, and
Hmm.
we had a hard money in place, right? So this was a fix and flip deal. It was supposed to be a light fix and flip, turned out not to be so light. So you guys got to be careful. And also, somebody asked about in the comments, should they do a deal that's out of state? We do those kind of deals. Rarely
Hmm.
though, right? And now because we're in Houston now, we strictly work in the Texas market, right? We don't there's no need for us to go anywhere else because the deals are so abundant here. But we used to live in California and it was a lot easier to find deals in the Midwest than in California. And in this situation, we fixed and flipped the house 2,000 miles away, right? It was quite a process, but this was after years of experience. So I don't recommend somebody who's brand new to go and do this. But the wholesaler, they wanted 5K non-refundable deposit. And this is why I say don't go directly to wholesalers just yet, right? But this is just this case study because what happens if your numbers are wrong, something's wrong, you got to eat that 5K. So as long as just be prepared for that. And so we got into the deal at what was it, 66,000?
Yeah, I believe so.
66,000. And what was the ARV on that one? Do you remember? I think it was 190 or something like that. Or was it two
Mm,
something?
yeah, I think so. I don't know. That
I
was a
think it was
little bit
like
ago.
190, right?
I just know we got before we completed the rehab, we had an offer submitted. 30,000 over asking.
Yes,
Or
yes.
yeah,
And
might have been.
so I remember the week, so we were working with a hard money lender, and the week we were getting ready to close, that we were supposed to close that Thursday. That Monday, the hard money lender, they kept dragging their feet and they said, "Hey Dave, we're gonna have to extend this one out, get an extension." And I said, "What's going on?" "Well, we can't get the appraiser out there in enough time, yada yada yada." And they just giving me this runaround. So I said, "Okay." I called the wholesaler. I said, "Hey Brad, we're gonna have to extend this out." And Brad said, "Man, you beat me down on that price because once you guys meet me, you guys will realize I'm a tough negotiator. I beat him down on that price." And he said, "Man, you beat me down on this price, and you told me this and told me that, and you promised me you'll close on time. If you don't close by Thursday, I'm keeping your deposit. I'm gonna go with the next person in line." So I'm like, "Oh shoot, what am I gonna do now?" I got literally a few days to close, right? I go to Yasmin. This is one of those days where my anxiety's kicking in because I'm like, I gotta figure out a solution this quick. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "This is what happened. This is going on." And she's like, "Oh, take a breath first. Take a breath. Sit down, relax." She's like, "We're gonna figure it out." Then she comes back. She says, "Call this guy right here, Patrick." And I call Patrick. Patrick says, "Well, we can get this deal closed in 2 days, right? Just get me all the information over." So we had to come up with 10% down, and we had to come up. They were covering 100% of the renovation costs, and we had to come up with 10% down, and we had to show a little bit of with the closing costs, and then we had to show a little bit of the holding costs, the monthly payments, interest only
Mhm.
payments. all in all, they wanted us to show 40 grand in the bank and then bring 14,000 to close. So that 14,000, we came, actually the entire amount came from business credit. And that 14,000, we converted it from a Chase Inc. business card, converted it into cash into the bank, and wired that straight into escrow. And we was able to close on that deal. And I can't even remember how much we made on that deal. Was it like 60 after everything's said and done or something?
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
62 or 63,000, oh, excuse me, that we made after that was done. And
Hmm.
that was a cool way of utilizing business funding. We've bought a fourplex before, where the down payment again came from American Express business credit card. We turned around once we got all the rents up and we got the 4 unit stabilized. We refinanced into a DSCR loan, and then we was able to pay back the card as well as put a whole lot of money into our pocket tax free. So these are some of the strategies that you could utilize business credit and business funding. Now, a lot of people think like, well, I can't get this because my credit is jacked up or whatever, right? And that's not necessarily the case, right? You definitely got to enhance your personal credit, and there's people such as ourselves that can help you with that.
Hmm.
And this is what I love about the community because you have people such as ourselves. I have anybody. I text Andrew yesterday, hey, this other person in the community is dealing with this. Another student in the community is dealing with this. Who do you know that can handle this? And immediately he sent me a referral to 2 attorneys in that state to get that done. And we just have that connection. How they say, what's that guy's name? Kevin Bacon. They say like 6 degrees of separate, something like that, where they basically say like he's like 6 people away from everybody in Hollywood or something like that. Well, that's Andrew in the real estate business. Like he's like 6 people away from everybody. So I mean that's pretty much it on the funding. We do a meetup here once a month in
Hmm.
Houston, Texas. If you're in the Houston area, anybody in the Houston area, just give me a HTX in the chat or something like that, so I can see if you guys are local to me and we can meet up and hang out sometime. Come tomorrow to our meetup. We got a meetup tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Closed Title,
Yes.
so that'll be pretty cool to come check out and come check that out. Anything you want to add, Yasmin? I mean, I'm just rambling on.
No, that was great. That was great. I guess at this point, if anyone has any questions for us, we'll take any questions. But you covered the bases. We both covered the bases of pretty much everything. We could go into great detail for hours on just covering all things real estate and all things business funding as well, and applying business funding to real estate. But we don't want to hold you guys. We know you guys got to get to some live dials.
Yeah. So looks like we do have a question. It says, "How do you get business credit if just starting out? I have bad personal credit." Do you want to chime in on that, or you want me to answer
You could take it.
that? I knew you was gonna say that. So you first have to work on your personal side, right? Because here's the thing, right? If the business has never got any credit, they're going to look heavily on you personally and personally guarantee it. The best way to explain that, it's like co-signing a vehicle for your kid. Your business is your kid, it's your baby, right? So your baby goes into the dealership, they just get their license, like my son just got his license, and they go in and they say, "Hey, I want to go get this Hellcat, this Dodge Hellcat or whatever the cool car is the kids want these days." And they're going to say, "Well, Dad, are you signing on this loan or what?" Right? And I'm going to say, "I don't know," right? But basically, you got to co-sign for your business. Now, it never reports to your personal, yet you're personally guaranteeing that debt. So if you default for whatever reason, like if you get that money and you decide instead of doing real estate as you're supposed to with that money and you're eyeing that Bentley driving down the street, and then you go see that guy with the Bentley and you're like, "Oh, that's a nice car." And he says, "Actually, it's for sale. I want 100,000." You're like, "Wait, I got 100,000. Do you take American Express?" And you use that to buy that car and then decide not to pay on it, on the monthly payments on the cards or on the lines of credit, then what's going to happen, right? They're going to come after you personally for that debt, right? So that's why you need your personal intact. Now, the first thing, one great trick to get your personal right is pull your credit report. The first thing you do is pull your credit report. So, and then you could pull it from My Score IQ is a good one where you can pull your FICO. You could get one for free at annualcreditreport.com. But pull your credit report needs to be from the three bureaus, the three main bureaus, which is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You're going to take a highlighter, highlight everything that's derogatory or don't look right. You're going to look at all your old addresses and you're going to first remove all of those old addresses. All of those old addresses, the reason why you want to remove that, because then you're going to challenge all that negative debt. Even if the debt is yours, you have the right under law to go and say, hey, prove this is mine. You may know it's yours. You may be like, shoot, I remember that Verizon bill. Ooh, that was a tough time. I couldn't pay that bill, right? And you're looking at it and you're like feeling bad about it. But guess what? You have the right to say, are you certain this is mine? Prove it. And they have to validate that debt. Now, the main way that they validate debt is they tie it to the old address of where you was at, right? And that's not the end all and be all, because I know the next question in the chat's going to be, well, I lived at the same address for the last 40 years, right? And that's okay too. There's other ways to have it removed, right? But this is just one strategy. One strategy. So you want to remove all of those old addresses. When you get all of those old addresses removed, and then now you challenge that debt, they're going to go pull your report. They can't tie it to that address. Now it's grounds for deletion. They got to remove it, right? So once you get all of these negative items removed, and as entrepreneurs, we're constantly going for funding. We're constantly going for loans and mortgages and things like that. So you probably might have most people who have great credit, they still got a million and one hard inquiries. And every time you get an inquiry, it lowers your score, right? And so
Hmm.
now you got to go challenge that. Well, guess what? If that inquiry is not tied to an open account on your credit report, you can have that removed. And they tell us, okay, well, it takes 2 years to get that removed. You don't have to wait 2 years, right? You can get that removed right away. So you want to work with a credit specialist such as myself and Yasmin, and we can help you get that removed. So you can always reach out to us, find us on Facebook or whatever you got to do to reach out to us, and just get with somebody or just start studying, watching some stuff to learn and do it yourself. Something to put your personal credit in position. Now, once that in position, the business got to be in position too. Now, quiet is kept. Banks only like real estate if it's tied to an asset, meaning if they can put a lien against it, a mortgage on it, right? That's what it is. It's basically a lien against that house or that building or whatever. That's what they like. They don't like it being unsecured, right? So, like a line of credit, a business credit card, a business term loan, those are unsecured, meaning if that business belly up, they're going to lose their money. So, that's a little higher risk for them. They don't like real estate investors. So, you got to be careful how you name your business, right? If you name it, David Selvin Real Estate, I might have a tougher time versus if it was just DS Enterprises, right? And so you can always name your business anything and then have a DBA name. It could be DS Enterprises, doing business as David Selvin Real Estate. So our company is Selvin Financial. Our funding and credit enhancement company is Selvin Financial. Well, financial is a high risk name, right? But I really like that name. So I wanted to name it Selvin Financial. So what do? We have a business entity that's a name totally separate, and that's just an assumed name or DBA name, right? So very, very important. These are like little tiny, tiny tricks that will push the envelope that much further and will take the difference between somebody just going applying for business credit and getting a measly 2 to 5K versus somebody going and getting 100K, 80 to 100, 150, 200. I mean, we've gotten people 300,000. I mean, you name it, right? So just a little tips and tricks that we use here in the community. We got another question. Hey, it's Jerry Owens. What's up, brother? If you have a sub two deal in Texas and seller just wants cash for keys, would that work in Texas? So I'm not understanding correctly. Are you talking about a debt takeover or is there a tenant in there you need to get out and give the tenant
Hmm.
cash for keys? Because typically, cash for keys means we're giving cash to the tenant and the tenant walks, right? We'll say, hey, I'll give you this amount of money. You got to be out by this date, and they'll walk for that money, right? And we get it in writing. Now, if it's a sub two deal, that means it's a debt takeover. We're just taking over their mortgage. Well, that's different. We're just taking over their mortgage and we close on the deal and then we have access to the house. So if you could elaborate on that question, because I'm not sure if I understand. Appreciate it. Anything else we should add on? I'm not sure how long we're supposed to go here.
Yeah, same.
This is good. Keep it rolling.
Oh, he's still here. I thought you was gone, brother.
Oh, this is awesome.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anything you maybe, 'cause you know how my mind goes, Andrew? Is there anything you might maybe want me to touch on or anything?
Yeah, I would just ask you guys, for anybody here, because many of the crew, we're getting ready to do live dials. And I know many times I hear people say, and I want you to address the mindset, either one of you or both of you, because many times people have this limiting belief around, I got to get the money lined up. I got to get the money lined up. And it keeps them from doing deals. What is the mindset shift from either or both of your perspectives? How to shift from that? Really, it's just a limiting belief, because you guys know this. You get people qualified for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like you're literally, you probably got 50 or 100 contacts you could text in your phone who would be delighted to use their business credit line to fund your deal.
That's
And
right.
so how do we shift from where we are to that?
Again, it's the mindset shift. I keep
Hmm.
something, and so we have like I believe we have like a brain that protects us, right? We got two parts to our brain, and that front part of that brain, or the critical brain is what I call it, or the mind or whatever. That thing tries to protect us from danger. So it's constantly talking us out of crap. And I don't care how successful you are. Well, I can't speak for anybody else. I can speak for myself. I don't care how successful I get, how much money I make, how many major things that myself and Yasmin accomplish. So that thing always comes back in the back of my head. And so that's why I actually put a notepad on my phone. So when I'm feeling like that, I open it up and read it out loud, and preferably in front of a mirror, looking myself square in the eyes, where I say, worry is a confession of lack of faith, right? And I just say it to myself over and over till I realize, like, man, there's something more divine out there that got my back. Because no matter what, everything always works itself out. The key
Hmm.
is, the way you got to look at it is like this: is if it's a good deal, it's not going to go unfunded. No good deal goes unfunded. I believe you make your money when you buy, right? You realize it when you sell, or when you dispo it or whatever. That's when you realize it. When you get that lease option 10, you get that Enrod, whatever. That's when you realize it and receive that money. But you made the money when you negotiated it, when you bought it, right? So you have to buy right. And as long as you buy right, somebody asked me yesterday, well, what do you think about the market? And you can still do that in this market, and naysayer. And I'm like, man, get this guy off my phone. But the reality is that yes, they're listening to the news and what everybody else is saying. But what I told him is like, all this means is, look, if a house is worth 400,000 last year and this year is worth 300,000, that just means I got to buy it 100,000 cheaper this year than last year, right? You just adjust your numbers. That's all it's
Hmm.
about. The numbers don't lie. Sellers will always lie. Buyers lie. Realtors lie. Everybody lies, right? Everybody tell a little lie, but the numbers are absolute. The numbers are the truth, and the truth is absolute. And so, as long as those numbers make sense, you're good to go, right? I mean, that's my thought on it. And you should easily, as long as you could show somebody else that. I was talking with a student earlier this morning about that. I said, you just got to show them, you have to figure out where you're going to make your money in this deal, because you got to be able to show that to your private lender or whoever you're going to get these funds from. So that way you could prosper and realize what you want out of the deal. So that's my
Hmm.
take on it. What about you, Yasmin?
Yeah, well, you shared it was, we have a saying in our house that no good deal goes unfunded.
That's right.
So as long as you remember that and you can show the value in the deal and the deal makes sense profit wise, and if it's long term wise, then there will be uh access to capital, whether it's, through business funding, through a private lender, whatever the case may be. You will get the deal funded. So just always remember that no good deal goes unfunded. It has to be a good deal, a great deal, maybe even, but it doesn't go unfunded. The money
Right.
will be there.
And oftentimes that's why That's why I don't like, and you've heard me say this plenty of times, Jasmine. That's why I don't like using or playing with my own money. That's why I like using other people's money because now I got somebody else putting eyes on it. And they may see something I didn't see in that deal, right? And so, obviously we do our best. We do our best due diligence. We do our
Hmm.
best to make sure this is a profited deal for one, for us to provide for our family, and then for two, to make sure that everybody in the deal, anybody who's put money up or anything is protected. But at the same time, sometimes you may see unforeseen things in a deal, right? And when you have other eyes on it, then they look and see that, and they might say, "Well, what about this?" And you're like, "Oh shoot, yeah, what about that? Okay, let me dive into that. Yeah, actually, you're right. Let me
Yeah.
readjust and recalculate things, right?" So, I mean, that's a good way to put it. That's awesome. Diana says, does it cost anything out of pocket to obtain these lines of credit? How would an investor start the process? Reach out to me, Diana. You got my number.
Yeah.
Reach out to me, and we could talk. If so, anybody could do this on their own, right? Like you can study, you could do this on your own, right? If you want us to do it, there is a fee involved. Obviously, it's a business, so we got to make money. So there's a fee involved. But reach out to us, and we could discuss that and how we could get you going. That's cool. Let's see if there's any other questions here. We got how
Oh.
long to improve credit by getting added to someone else's credit card? So you're talking about being an authorized user, like adding an
Hmm.
authorized user to your account. So there's this one caveat to being an authorized user. So if you have no credit whatsoever on your personal credit and you get added to as an authorized user, your score is going to jump, but you're going to go apply and still get denied. And the reason why is you don't have any what's called primary trade lines.
Primary. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we call in the industry an AU or authorized user trade line. So the rule of thumb is for every one AU you have on your profile, you want two primaries. Now, we help people get those authorized user lines. There's actually companies out there where you can um, basically rent somebody's credit and put it on your profile for a little bit of time. Typically, it's about 2 months. And the way usually we only do that when somebody has primaries, but they don't have the age or they don't have the high credit limit that we need. Like maybe their highest credit card only goes to 3,000 and we want to show 5 or 10,000 on their personal report for what we're going for. At that point, then we'll put this authorized user trade line on there for 10,000 that dates back 10 years or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And so that's how we utilize that. But if you solely put that on there, then nothing will happen. And then you also want to make sure, be careful of who you're using to put that on there because you want to make sure, okay, it might be at 10% utilization today. And then next month, you're like, why did my score drop? And then you look and now it's at 80% utilization. And you're like, what the heck? I know you could tell a story about that, Yasmin. That happened to you in like in high school or college or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was I started building my credit very, very young, in high school, which was great because, just a side story. My first car, I was able to finance it on my own, no cosigner at 19.
At 19.
Um,
Zero
yeah,
down.
so yeah, zero down. So it was really great. Great interest rate. I think it was like 3%.
It
I don't know,
was.
really, really great loan. And so, my dad had added me on an authorized user on an account. And I think you might have been using the funds for a flip or something like
I
that. So
was.
yeah, you pulled some funds from that, and the utilization went up. And I was like, I was checking my credit, and I was like, man, what's going on? You need to remove me from this
Yeah, she
because
called
it's
me and,
lowering
and
my
yelled at me.
it's lowering my score. And so he removed me or whatever the case may be. He was like, "Oh, sorry," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's affecting me." So,
Yeah,
it served its purpose. Get me off of there. So
yeah, yeah.
you do have to be mindful of that.
I remember that. It was 50,000. I pulled
Yeah.
50,000 from the card. And then you called me immediately, like, what the heck, man? I was like, hey, it's part of the game. I'm doing what I got to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny. That was funny. It was cool too to see that you were on it at such a young age. Like it made me
Yeah.
proud as a dad. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, be mindful of that with the authorized user
Authorized
account.
user accounts. Yeah.
I was just sitting here wondering why you guys were ignoring me talking to you, and I realized my mic was muted. It was they're just talking away. Who here's loving this stuff? You guys getting a lot of value from the Selvin family?
Thank y'all for having us. I really
Yeah,
appreciate this
likewise.
opportunity. And,
Yeah,
as you know, I love speaking. So I love speaking to everybody and talking to everybody. And wow, what a cool group of people on here.
yeah.
And thank you. Thank you, David and Yasmin. I know I pulled Yasmin. I was excited to have you join me today. And then David, I know I pulled a fast one on you, texting you right before saying, hey, can you also hop on and co-host with me, the two of you? And I just thank you guys for being so willing to do that. Question for you. Anybody who is loving this stuff. And by the way, for those of you who in the coaching community, like these are the type of people we love to hang out with, because it's not about what you know as much as it is who you know. And that's why we built this community. What's a way, David, that people can reach out to you, and Yasmin, what's a way people can reach out to you if they want to hit you up? Just Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where you at?
Yeah, so you guys make sure, shameless plug, follow me on all platforms. Mr. underscore prosperity underscore on Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube. If you just type in David Selvin Real Estate, my YouTube will pop up, as well as Facebook, David Selvin. You will see me, or I think my Facebook is facebook.com/Selvin Financial, and it'll take me to my page that says David Selvin. And I'm on LinkedIn as well under David Selvin. How about you, Yes?
Yeah, oh, 1 second. It booted me out. Okay, I'm back. You guys can friend me on Facebook, Yasmin Selvin. I'm trying to start using Facebook more, so I want to do that. My generation, we don't really use Facebook too often, but that's where that's where all the business people are, as well as LinkedIn, Yasmin Selvin. And I was looking really quick too to drop just a link to our website, Andrew, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because anyone on here who might want to save it for the side when they're ready, you guys can fill out a form to book a consultation, and we can help
Let's do
guide you
something
through the
special,
process.
Yasmin.
Yeah.
Let's do something special for anybody who is interested in learning more about credit enhancement, business funding, business lines, or anything to do with anything. Let's give them a free 1 hour consult. Ooh, how many people's on here? I hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot.
Oh,
Free,
shoot.
free 1 hour consult. And I actually charge just for 1 hour. I charge $500 for that. So it'll be free. And just got to mention you're with Andrew Schlag and Leo
Hmm.
Valentino, and we got you going.
Yeah.
That's a generous give. Wow. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that.
Depending on how many
Um,
people book, give me some time to spread it out.
Oh my goodness. And
Put the
then the
circle around.
incredible thing, I want to point out with you guys, we're getting ready to do some live dials, and it's crazy what can happen in 10 minutes. I was just talking a moment ago on a project, and in a 15-minute call, we moved mountains because of who is on that call. And wow, what a powerful give. And if the only thing you get out of this is the insight to know how to get access to an extra 50 or 100K over the next few weeks or months, that's worth its weight in gold. Thank you so much for that. So Yasmin Selvin on Facebook, and David, Mr. Prosperity Selvin. Follow him on all platforms. Anything else that the two of you wanted to share before we dive into live dials?
I just want everybody to understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Yasmin.
no,
Forgive me.
you could go.
Well,
Go ahead, go.
I just want everybody to understand that the most important piece to this is just know and understand when you get around the right people and around the right community,
Mm.
that everything is possible, right? The unknown, the impossible is possible. When I say it's possible, it is possible. You'll start doing things when you get in the right rooms with the right people, you'll start doing things. I actually thought about that this morning, Andrew. I'm working with Vish on a couple projects, and I'm like, wow, like I never thought the phone call I had this morning, I never thought I would have these kind of calls if you asked me 5 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever, right? And it's just about being in the right circles, being in the right rooms with the right people. So very important. Stay plugged in, stay locked in, and remember, when you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rotten. Knowledge is infinite. Stay green, and you'll continue to make green. You'll make a whole lot of green.
Love
Yeah,
that.
David took it away, but Andrew, thank you so much for having the both of us on. And thank you to all of you who joined and are watching. Really excited to speak with you all and see how we can help get you all in position to get some funding so you guys can, get the ball extra rolling on your real estate investing with this business. And I also did see Devin and Fernell shouted us out. Those are two people we just got. And Fernell, we actually got him 52,000 in what, less than 24 hours. Is really really quick. So that's awesome. He has access to that capital, be able to do what he needs to do, as well as Devin, as well. So we're really excited to work with you all and get you all the similar results.
Thank you so much for that. And can you, Yasmin, can you also text myself or Anya that link so we can make sure it's out on all platforms right now?
Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much. Give it up in the chats for Yasmin and David. Oh my gosh, what an incredible time. We got live dials to get to. We got more notes to share. Angela's deal, we're going to be talking about that. Joe and Judas multifamily project and the leads you have submitted. So we are just getting started, but I see the chats coming in. Congratulations. Thank you to each of you for being here. David and Yasmin, thank you for co-hosting with me today. We're going to dive in. For those of you who haven't seen the link, I know there was some of you on some of the platforms not having that link. Yasmin will be distributing that. And all you got to do is comment. If you're watching the replay, comment, link, please. And my team will be on that and make sure that you have the link. All right. So anybody missing the link, just ask for it. And my team will make sure that you have it. Anya, keep a lookout for that, please. All right. Let's start dialing some live leads. Let's get this going. First off, we have Kelly on West Ebel. Wrong. Let's try that again. Now. And Anya, if you could grab that link from Yasmin and post that in the Zoom chat as well. I see several in the Zoom haven't received it yet. Hello? Kelly, it's Andrew calling you on the West Ebel house. How are you? Who's this? Sorry? My name's Andrew. I was calling interested in buying your house you got in Boonville. I don't have a house in Boonville. Oh, well, shoot. Maybe I got the wrong number. Thank you. Hey, you're welcome. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Let me see. We got the right number here. By the way, that happens sometimes. Dial that number again, see if I typed it in wrong. May have fat fingered it. How's your energy now? You guys energized after that beautiful share? Shobna's a 10. Marlon's 100. Heck yeah. Just leave me a message. I'll try to get back to you. Thank you. All right. Let's send a text. We're going to send a text saying, by the way, this is the text you send when they don't answer. Interested in your West Able Road property. When do you have a minute to talk? Call.
Forwarded to an
Didn't answer, so we dial again. Get somebody on the phone. We're going to have a great conversation. By the way, if any of you had questions we hadn't got to yet, put them in the chat with a Q in the front of them. I'll be answering questions as we dial here. We're going to do a deal breakdown. I think you'll enjoy very much here in a moment. Okay, nothing there. Got to get somebody on the phone.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Play.
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press.
Hey, it's Andrew, interested in your house on St. Lucia Drive. When do you have a minute to talk? All right, keep them coming. Got to get somebody on the phone. Brandon, we got any like background music or anything?
No.
Hey, Gerald, it's Andrew calling you on the Patch Drive house. How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, I was calling. From my understanding, you had 3 different properties you were looking to sell, but you would be interested in owner financing if we could work out the terms. Is that a correct understanding?
I don't really want to.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would maybe for a year,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to do it long term.
Okay.
Again, if you're strong enough and you paid me real well, I wouldn't mind leaving the money out at 12%.
12%. Oof.
Yeah. Well, you thinking something less?
For sure.
Okay. Well, we don't need to talk anymore.
How much equity you got in the properties? Like if I bought them, is there a discount? You want an all retail and 12% interest? Oh my gosh. Okay. Fair enough, brother. Probably better to keep them.
Well, I don't want to keep them. I'm going to sell them one way or the other.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, is there any flexibility on price?
Yeah, I'd take, because I'm prepared to pay a 6% commission. I'd take 6% less. I don't know what I quoted you, probably what I got them listed for.
You got, let's see, Patek at 125. Oh, no, that's the address. Hang on. You have, let me get my notes here. What are they listed at? All 4 of them together, if we took all 4 of them.
70, 70, and 40.
That's
180.
70, 70, 40. And then what was the third one? I understand there's a one on Arlington.
Oh, I think I have that one sold. The guy that I loaned the money to, in the first place, who's causing me all this loss, says he'll buy it for 120, and he's supposed to do it by the end of this month. But if not, it's going to be back on the market.
What do you think those 3 properties that you're asking 77 for, 184? What would they appraise for if I got them appraised?
That or more.
Okay. So just so you know, we do it 2 ways. We either pay cash, but we get a discount, or we substantial, or we do it owner financing and pay you over time. We don't mind paying retail, but we wouldn't be able to make sense of retail plus they just wouldn't support that. Even if we rent them, it wouldn't support that kind of interest rate. Yeah. Are you open to a different interest rate if you finance them and we get a number that the deals can support? Because we're going to be responsible, of course, after we close them with the real estate attorney for maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance till we pay you off. Well, normally if we're paying retail and all closing, we buy with nothing down.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You might be strong enough. I don't know.
Would you?
How much money you got? What's your net worth?
Then would you like to know? I respect the question. I've done a few hundred of these. I'll put it that way. Um, how long are you? How long are you prepared to hold the note if we agree on terms?
Well, I'm 84. How long do you think I would carry it?
Oh, well, Moses started his ministry at 80, so I'd say at least 20 years.
You know, I don't want the executor to have to worry with this for no long-term stuff. That's the only reason.
Would you give us 3 to 5 years if we could buy it for, up in that 165 to 180 price and agree on the monthly?
No, I'm not going to discount it and carry it low interest. Nah.
Well, you said 6% discount, didn't you?
I don't know about financing it though. It's 6% off.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just quoting back to you what you said.
Put some money down.
So,
but no, if I'm going to see your financial statement.
That's fair enough. All right, brother.
I give my bank. I'm worth $5 million, and they don't want to loan me money.
Yeah. Well, my bank will loan me money, but I need a big discount if I'm going to pay you cash. So, well, let's just do this. Let's have another conversation in a couple weeks and see how things are going, and we'll go from there. All right, brother? All right. Bye for now. All right. Questions. Who has questions? That was a fun call. You guys hear me say this, and this is a big note to take away. You guys notice, and I share this because old Andrew, 2014 Andrew, when he started doing calls, when he met somebody with that who'd pop questions like that, number one, Andrew, 21-year-old Andrew, would have been afraid to ask the nothing down question. 21-year-old Andrew would have got nervous about that call, but you notice how I just played with resistance. It's like I'm talking to grandpa and I'm just having a chat and he says something to me and I say something back and we just had a good chat. Now, I guarantee you that he's not selling those properties, let alone at 180, let alone with 12% interest. His objective is to be able to get these darn things off his plate. So Jane, I know you no doubt had a great chat with this gentleman. You should put him on a follow-up and have another chat with him. And when you do, ask him how that buyer that was buying that Arlington Circle house come out. And this guy is going to really, a little bit of time is going to change this guy's mind. And by the way, there's a value there. I don't know what these are worth. Jane, you should look this up. In fact, you can put these in the deal calculator. And if you want to run some numbers on them, if you don't have an account, go start you a Manus account or go start you a Claude AI account and just put these addresses in there and say, hey, what are these worth as rental properties? And ask the question. And very possible that he has these underpriced. In fact, right now, I have more dials to make, but I want to do this because this is what I would do if I was alone doing these dials. I'm going to put these right here into Manus. Let's see what it spits out for me. Here's 3 deals from a student. What do you think the value is as a rental property at retail price? See what it says. All right. Manus is thinking. Which, by the way, if you guys have not been using Claude AI or Manus, is it 100% accurate? Absolutely not. But it's a great way to be able to deep dive into properties. After this, we're getting ready to have another chat. There's a gentleman where, double check this. I'm sure nobody's calling me back yet. So there's a gentleman who is ready to sign a contract with Joe and Judith on a 32 unit property. And what happens, in fact, I'm going to show you guys this real quick. So what happens is on this property, it's a 32 unit property. And the guy is, number one, he's behind on payments. Number two, it needs another $500,000 in work. It's 32 units. Only 16 of them are rented. And the property, I don't know yet what it's going to be worth once it's done. It's in Indiana. But I anticipate, the seller rather told me he anticipates that Don is worth between 3 and 3.4 million. Well, if we can buy a property that's worth 3 to 3.4 million that needs $500,000 in work for somewhere in the mid ones or even two, in the low to mid twos is what I meant to say, and get close to 7 figures of equity and bump the rents up and be able to put long-term debt on this thing since it's in my backyard. That's used to be my backyard where we got a bunch of stuff. This is a huge opportunity. Also, he's overpriced right now. So we sent over an LOI with a threefold offer. It's a commercial project. And the offers that we sent over, he liked 2 of them. And so we have another follow-up call later today, be able to chat with this gentleman and nail down the final numbers on the offer. Angela sent over a medical complex that is in foreclosure. I'm just sharing this with you guys because I want you guys to know behind the scenes how this works so that when you come across these deals, you know what questions to ask. Angela, I would want to ask 2 things on that medical complex. I've seen the payoff is just over $4 million. Can you ask them, number 1, if there is a reinstatement amount? And number 2, can we get a estimation of what we believe the complex would appraise for? So those are the 2 notes. Now, it may be too far along. There may be no reinstatement amount, but almost always I've seen an ability to get a reinstatement amount. There's a $4.1 million debt. They may only be $400,000 behind. Well, it's a whole lot different story to come up with $400,000 before an auction in 5 days than it is $4.1 million. And then, of course, we ask, is it worth it, depending on what it appraised for? And then you can, of course, Angela, shoot over the info you get on that, and we can decide whether we whack it or whether we attempt to move anything forward on it. There is a lot of moving pieces, so the likelihood of that one closing is slim, and it's worth finding out. So for every one of you, the mission, the job, the objective is to solve the seller's problems and to do it by asking better questions. And we either buy houses cash with big discounts or with terms, payments over time. So Manus is thinking, it's doing deep research right now. And while it's doing deep research, we're going to call another seller and see if we can get them on the phone. And then we're going to come back. So put this in your notes. Mr. Gerald, who we just talked to in Columbus, Georgia, with the three properties he's looking to sell. We will come back and see what Manus has to say about his properties in just a moment. Let's call Patrick on Davis Road.
Hello.
Patrick, it's Andrew calling you back. How are you?
All right.
Hey, I was calling on that Davis Road house. Is that still for sale?
Yes, it's not a house. It's just a land lot.
Land, got it. You're asking 30,000, right?
All right. So which one? Which one are you looking at?
The 4313 Davis Road land?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you think that it's worth?
All right.
What would it appraise for?
I don't know. I got a realtor looking that up right now.
Okay.
And she haven't gave me the numbers on that one yet.
Okay. All right. You owe 10K on it still, correct?
No, I don't owe anything on it.
Oh, it's free and clear. Okay. Is the taxes current and everything?
Yeah, everything's current.
Okay. If we was to buy that from you, are you willing to let us pay you the 30,000 over time?
You know what? I might be.
Okay.
Yeah, we might be open to that.
Okay.
With a down payment.
What's the least you'd take as a down payment and the rest over time?
I gotta think about that one. I haven't thought about that.
Mm-hmm. You the only owner, or you and partner or anything?
No, it's just me.
Just you. Okay. What's got you looking
Yeah.
to sell it? Did you buy it to build on or do something, or what? What's
Yeah, I bought the bill, but didn't do anything.
okay? Okay.
Yeah.
What's around it? Is it like houses, mobiles?
All of them are big lots, acreage that some of them have mobile homes on them. I think I've seen some houses on some.
Is there
I don't know if you can
by chance is there water and sewer and electric there and stuff?
On 4313, there's 2 septic tanks that they told me, and one needs to be vacated. Thank you. I did see that one when I walked it. There's a light pole with power running to it on that one. And water, I think, is city.
Okay, city water, got electric, and it's
I know it had two mobile homes on it previously, so I'm quite sure.
okay. Okay. What
I'm just calling
two mobile homes? What do you think? What's it zoned? Do you know what it's zoned right now?
Residential
Okay.
or rural residential.
All right. And it's all in one deed though, right?
All two. Her last name is all one West.
It's one deed.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. What kind of monthly payment? If we could buy it from you and pay you over time, like what kind of monthly payment would you be looking at till we paid you off?
Yeah. You know what? I really haven't did my homework on that part. Tell you the truth.
How much?
Yeah.
How much is the taxes a year?
Probably $300.
300. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How close do you live to it?
I live probably 5 minutes away from it. Let me go back.
You mentioned you mentioned the 4313 a couple times. Do you have other land near it as well?
4319 right next to it, adjacent.
And how much acreage is that?
4319 is 2.48 acres.
And how much you asking for that one?
That one probably 20,000.
Maybe we'll package deal. If we made that, does it have electric and city water too?
Yes.
And then what about septics?
Don't know. They didn't find any news about septics. But I did see same type of picture on that one,
Mhm.
but it had some mobile homes, and I haven't walked that lot. I walked 4313. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Very cool.
February 21st.
Well, how much of a discount would you give us if we bought both of them from you at the same time?
Oh man. Yeah. Say 10,000.
So 35,000 for both of them.
More like 40 for both.
Mm-hmm. 40. Okay. Would something? What's the taxes on the other one? Is it?
It's about the same, roughly the same. Yeah, taxes not much.
Could we pay you like 600? Could we pay you like maybe like 150 a month until we paid you out the full 40?
Well, no, that's dragging it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
what would
dragging it
you
out.
need?
Let me do this. Let me do some math and call you back on it because I mean, I wouldn't want to drag out that long.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me know. Maybe we could do like a balloon too, because like after we buy it from you, we're gonna resell it down the line anyway. Probably put some mobile homes on it. And have some ideas for it. So okay. When should we reconnect?
Give me to tomorrow about this time. Call me back.
And your name's Patrick, right?
Right.
Patrick. All right, Patrick. I'll talk to you tomorrow about this time, Patrick.
All right.
All right, thanks. All right, bye for now.
Yeah.
All right. For Nizzle. That was your lead. How you feeling, man?
Two pieces of land, huh?
Yeah. All right. This is a shiny object for 90% of you. So most of you should not do this land deal. And I will tell you a opportunity for any of my Georgia folk. If you want to buy this land, there's 2 septics on one. And one needs to be vacated. By the way, you're probably going to spend, don't quote me on this, you got to get prices, got to do your facts before you buy the darn thing. But you probably going to spend 15 or 20, maybe more, putting a septic in. So that's a cost to figure. I used to have my mobile home dealer's license, and I know people. I met one at there's a big Louisville mobile home show every year. Remind me, come back to that thought. Well, also, we got to go back to Gerald and those 3 properties, but we have a seller calling us back. Hello there. This is Andrew. Hey, how you doing? You remember everything, brother. You remember everything. Hey, what are we gonna do about this house, man? Oh, this is a lead that we talked to like 4 months ago. I didn't recognize him. What is it? Oh, cool. What'd they say it was worth? Well, shoot. Did they offer to buy it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. 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 Well, remind me what your debt is on this one. One like 160, right? So you're trying to get like what, 70 out of it, if I remember right? 60, 70 cash? Okay. 67. Much as you can. I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. Well, um, mhm. All right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my dad's a good dude. All right. Well, let's do this. So if we like for real, if we was to take over to 157 and pay you out cash and pay the closing and there's no royalty fees, I mean, what's the drop dead number? It's like, bro, if you wire me this, like it's your house.
Probably 265.
Whoa.
Went up.
Whoa. We're going in the wrong direction. All right. You come back to reality and call me back, brother. You must be smoking the wrong thing.
Slate.
Okay, all right. You go get some rest. Don't drink too much, and we'll talk in a couple, okay?
Michael.
Okay, all right. We go take some more NyQuil, brother.
What last night it was 8 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, good talking to you, dude. Thanks for calling me back. Let's connect up. I think I've got about 65,000 in a bank account with your name on it, but that 105 was a new one on me. So let's you put a pen to paper, you lay off the NyQuil, and let's talk like next week, okay?
Earth, okay.
I'm back to earth, brother. I'm back to earth. Newsom's fixing it all for us. All right. I'll talk to you soon. I got to go. Bye. All right. So, build rapport. This guy came in through Joe and Judith's PPL last year sometime, I believe. And this is a house I actually thought might be in the range of what my dad might want. And my dad went and looked at it. It wasn't a fit for him. And then the guy wanted too much cash. And he claims, very possibly true, that he got an appraisal for 380. Now, Furno has a different set of paid lead source, and this happens sometimes, by the way, if you're buying two different lead sources. And this guy, actually, my brother Aaron had talked to this guy almost 2 years ago, so he's been on the fence for a long time. So he's this guy that's you build rapport. And he's always got offers coming in more than he can take, and friends inheriting $4.3 million, and he's always got big things happening. He just can't quite get things to move. So I share that because you hear the conversation we had. Now, all those other people that are quote offering him money, there's a chance he could take one of those offers for sure. Also, most of them are full of crap. He's full of crap, and they're going to run out of patience before he gets done and finally decides to sell this thing. So we're not going to waste time following up with him every week and having an hour chat, because he would definitely be open to that. But we are going to put him in the radar, and we're going to call him back, and we're going to cut to the chase. And one day this guy is going to sell this freaking house. And when he does, we're going to be there. All right, let's see. We're going to go back and we're going to see what Manus came up with on this 3 properties that the guy wants 180 for. Boom, 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 boom. Looking at Manus. Thank you. According to Manus, which is probably a little aggressive, Manus believes that they're worth 200 to 230. So you might get a little dab of equity. So it's all in the terms here. Janet, it's all in the terms here. If you can buy this thing and you can pay them a whole lot less than what they would rent for, it's worth doing. If you can't pay them a whole lot less than they'd rent for every month, then it's not worth doing. Looks like one of them is rented for $800 a month. One that supposedly can rent for $800 a month, and another one can rent for $650 to $750 a month. So total rent per month would be right around $2,200 on the portfolio. So Janet, in that case, you probably need to be paying him something like $1,000 a month and be responsible for the maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance. And then you can lease option them as they come empty. All right. That's how we underwrite a deal in that case with AI in a few short minutes while it works in the background.
He said 1%, and then he said 12% to you. I don't know.
He said 1% talking about per month. Sometimes a guy like that, he's talking about 1% per month. And so he wanted you to pay him $1,800 a month in interest, which is outrageous, I might add. All right, let's go back to, where were we? We was on Patrick on Davis Road. So I used to have a mobile home dealer's license. And there is guys who make this a whole business model. Again, I love Boslo. So don't get caught up in like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the mobile home king and the RV king and the tax lien king and the freaking short sale queen and whatever else. So don't get caught up in shiny objects. What I am telling you is somebody who lives in Georgia, somebody who is interested in a piece of land like this, who can acquire it for probably little to nothing down and a couple $100 a month, few $100 a month for a while. I used to have my mobile home dealer's license, and we can buy mobile homes that sell. And I don't know that this area does or don't support it. I'm just knowing what I just found from a brief call. I used to be able to get mobile homes, and in fact, some of our community still has their license. So you can get mobile homes for about 45 to 65% of retail value. So in other words, if you see a mobile home at Clayton for sale for $90,000 with your dealer's license, you could probably get it for 50 to 60, maybe even 45. Well, if that's the case, now we look and go, okay, if I can get this mobile for, let's call it 50, and I can put it on this piece of dirt that I've got, let's call it 20 in, I'm in it for 70, got to pay setup. Is this an area that I could then sell this modular or this mobile? Or if it's a nice area, which I'm not sure that it is, it looks rural. But if it supports the area, there is some modulars that they bring in that look like houses. And I remember one of the modulars I was looking at, I could buy it with my mobile license for $90,000. And I met a guy who, if I remember correctly, he was putting them on dirt and selling them for $239. And he was putting them on dirt and selling them for $239. Well, if that played true in this area where you could buy a modular like that, a nice one, 3-bed, 2-bath, vaulted ceilings, beautiful one for sub 100,000 and be in the dirt for 20 and another 25 for hooking it all up. Now you're all in for 140, 150, and you could lease option this thing for 239 or sell it, better yet, retail for 239 and make yourself a quick 60 or 70K. All right. That's an opportunity for a couple of people and a shiny object for most people. So why do I share that with you? Because now with AI, it's all in the presentation. For no, could buy these houses, not suggesting you should. I'm painting the picture. You could buy these, these land lots. People of wealth, we pay for access. People of wealth, we make connections. Now, here's the cool part. For no, you have funding sources because you're in Freedom Life. You have funding sources that will fund modulars. Because you're in Freedom Life, you have access to people who have their mobile home dealer's license. And when you go to find your buyer, it might even be that you didn't do all the work of putting the modular on. It might be that you called the guy who has his dealer's license and you put together on AI in 30 minutes one afternoon, painting a picture for your buyer, and you flip this land that you pay 40 for 65,000 because you painted the picture to the local Georgia fella who is going to buy these from you for 65 that you just got for 40 and flip the darn things, and he makes the 50 per modular for doing all the work, and you made 25 for putting the deal together and for spending 30 minutes on AI. Now, I know that's glorified wholesaling, but I'm telling you, in today's market, it is a tremendous opportunity. All you've got to do is add some freaking value, and it's amazing what can happen. Now, assuming that was the gameplay, we would call her back, and instead of asking for time, we would say, hey, let's get this down. Let's get you 30K and pay you off, assuming the lots are valued. I don't know that they are. I'm painting a picture based on a bunch of unknown facts. We'd have to find this out. I would paint the picture and I would say, look, Mrs. Or Mr. Patrick, I can buy your land. I'll pay you 30K. I'll close in a couple days, few days, as soon as title's ready. And we close on the darn thing. And now we list it back up. And if you can sell them for 65, you just turned your 25 profit to 35 by one more conversation. That's how these types of deals are done. And that's how Judith, I know, just did another deal where she partnered with a couple others in the community. I think they got a $30-something thousand check that they partnered with some of the others in the community. That's how Sean got a over $30,000 check, and so many others have done and are doing deals. So painting that picture. Who here's enjoying this stuff? Get the chats hopping. I know we are a little overtime today. We got more calls to do and more notes to take, but I'm going to ask you for no. Is there any calls that you most importantly, we talked to Jane's lead, we talked to Fernow's lead. That's all we got on the phone. Is there any more of these between that you submitted that are urgently excited for a call? I'm going to do one more before I hop to my meeting that starts in 12 minutes. You're muted.
I'd say either the Indiana one, David Fishburne,
That's the one we'll do.
or the Boonville. I think that one. Actually, no, the other one. The other one. Yeah.
Which one?
The first one. And then if you can't get a hold of
Wait, Brian?
David.
David. All right.
Yeah,
we're calling
David
David
Fishburne.
now.
Yep.
Perfect. Yes, Judith, that was Kelly. What's up, Dr. Steve? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Jerry?
Never. We're getting close. Hello.
Hey, Never.
No.
How you doing?
Yeah. Doing good.
Hey, I was interested in that Keystone Avenue property. You got a quick second?
Okay. Yeah. What'd you like to know?
Cool. My understanding, you were asking 89 for the house, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And then it needed, did I understand right? It needs like 30, 40K in work to like do the roof and finish the second floor up?
Pretty much. You would have to see it and estimate that. Right now, it's rental condition. So I mean, you could rent it tomorrow.
How much
So just
would it rent for?
probably 1,000. Yeah, because I rented the same family for 30 years, and because I owned it right 29, 30 years, somewhere in there. Same family started out, I think, at 700. They ended up at 1,000, and they didn't even want to move. I just wanted to change.
Mm-hmm.
No, I never put any money in it. I just wanted to change. So
yeah. Okay.
I'll pay for rental property. I just don't want to die with that one.
That's fair. What's got you deciding to get rid of this one and put it in something else?
Tell me, and then we'll make that decision together. I don't really have one, so I know, and not that you're a wholesaler, but a lot of wholesalers ask that same question: "What's your reason for selling?" I said, "Well, make one up, and I'll go with it."
Mm-hmm. You looking to
I've
sell a
never
whole
had-
portfolio or just this one?
I sold about a pre-COVID, which would have been was a mistake because the prices were down.
Oh,
So I
shit.
sold
Yeah.
I sold a $4 million package pre-COVID. So that $4 million package today is probably 8,
Yep.
10. Yeah, so I sold 4 million. The good news is the person that will benefit, I love the guy. It's my brother. So he'll benefit.
Well, I was going to say you just have to drive by him every once in a while just to add to your depression. But if it's your brother, that's a benefit.
No, I know. So I told him, I said, hey, if anybody got the equity, it's you, and that's better because you're still raising kids and I'm not,
Absolutely.
So good for him. But yeah.
You got 4 million more you want to sell or not right now?
There's 50 and I got another dozen in Florida, but not really because I'm going to sell them off one at a time as they come empty. Like this one came empty with mom dying, and she is 90. And then so when she died, everybody wanted to stay. I just said, hey, mom's gone, time to go, me to make a change, whatever that means. And I know we all need money monthly. I get it. I just was just like, I knew, because you're asking for a reason. I knew if I keep it beyond now, then I am going to have to put a roof on it, or have a roof on it.
Yeah.
Because the set sides broke.
Because we're kind of in acquisition mode this year. I did a similar thing and sold a few dozen of mine. And of course, we buy them one at a time, cash below value sometimes, but mainly I buy them, and I like to buy portfolios on some owner finance type deal. Would you be willing to sell a portfolio if we could come to a good price and then pay you out over time on terms that worked for you and us? And, we respect.
Come to that yet?
Okay.
That could come to that. But yeah, let me think on that. If I can still clean cut and gone, I'll probably do that. What happened with my brother, I had to hold back about $1 million on the financing on him to get him financed. And so, yeah, he still owes me, I don't know, $100,000. I mean, he's paid almost everything. So, but my point I'm making is my goal is to clean cut and be gone. But I don't know. If I change my mind, I'll certainly let you know. Tell me your situation. Are you local or are you not?
I live in Louisville. I lived
Okay.
in Louisville for years, so I like Indiana and Kentucky. And so my game plan is, my main model is I buy houses and I sell them on lease option. And so when I get to buy portfolios, it's even better. And of course, we could do one at a time. I'm interested for sure in the Keystone property, but if we put together a deal on 12 or 15 or 25 of them, and we could maybe pay you cash for one or two of them and then, get some financing on the rest, or, we're flexible as long as we can come to terms where they support themselves and, we can make some money in the process, of course. But yeah, definitely in acquisition mode.
We got you. What's your situation? Do you have people over in Indy or Indianapolis or somewhere that can come and look?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we come
Would
to
it be
some sort of term on like, hey, here's the addresses and, here's the price range we're in. And yes, I'm open to X type of seller carry, then that would be the next step. I'd want to come and take a look through all of them we're looking at buying. So, but I wouldn't want to waste yours or your tenant's time till we was in the same set. Yeah.
Mortgage title is clean.
Yep.
I've never been in trouble. I'm nothing. So everything's spotless, but I've never none of it. So in other words, it's 100% clean. Just looking for you to tell me, hey, here's what we want to pay, or let me come and look at it. I know you guys like to be under contract before you pay, or like be under contract and then come inquire of something first. I don't know how it works, but just tell me what you're like. Would you be able or want to come and see it and then make an offer on this one before we go any further? And I've been doing this since 1982. So this ain't my first day.
I love to hear that because there's a whole lot less explaining needs to be done. So when it comes, so this one, yes, definitely interested. My question to you before we talk about the package, because, obviously I want to know what you'd be looking to sell. That'd be the starting point. With this one, if we was to do an owner finance type deal, like what kind of, knowing we're responsible for, maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance, like what kind of payment would you be looking for until we paid you off, the 80 whatever in full?
What's your terms? Like example, are you a 4-year deal? You a 3-year deal? You a balloon? You a 5-year deal?
So I do them two ways. If you say, hey, I don't want to get ate up on taxes, I want to go a full 30. We occasionally buy from landlords who want that. And then about half the people we buy from, we put in a 10-year balloon, but our objective is to lease option it, so I expect that it would happen sooner than that. But and if it didn't, we just recommit in the meantime.
What I would do, you understand about the taxes. I hate them. They suck ass. But what I'd probably do if I got it bought outright, just hypothetically, is I'd probably just do an exchange on it and just try to buy like a little tiny rentable trailer in Florida or something. Just because I prefer. I don't even want Indiana anymore. But just saying, maybe I'd do that. So I don't know about the owner financing yet. Let me study on that. If I understood the terms more, what's your interest rate, all that kind of stuff.
So we play with, for us, it's about, can we, of course, make some cash flow every month. So we're responsible for maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance, as you, I'm sure, are familiar with. So can we get a little cash flow in the meantime, and then can we get a little equity where our lease option buyer, when they cash us out, we make a profit? And so if you're familiar with lease options a lot or not a lot.
Never done one.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy.
No, not at all.
So not super understanding of it. Yeah. But I'm from the old school where I just bought it outright and just rented it for its life.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And you got appreciation and depreciation and 1031 into something else,
and spend it in something else. And that's how I acquired the dozen 14, 15 in Florida. And some of them are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Yeah. But some of them are $89,000 homes. They really are. Yep. Down there in a little park that you own the land. So it's just saying it is what it is. So it's just whatever you come up with. Now they're very small. They're 400 square feet homes. So, you don't get much, but you get one tenant and you have like less than one problem.
Yeah. Well, let's do this way then. Would it be worth the discussion? Because I'm open to making an offer. Our cash offer would be at a bit of a discount, and our terms offer would of course be paying you out over time at finding out what rate you want. As long as we can make some cash flow on the monthly till we get paid out, I'm flexible. But would you prefer to nail down some numbers on this one deal, or would you prefer to put together a list and see what we could do on a dozen or 24? I'm open to either. Doesn't make me no difference.
Yeah, I mean, in the future, I'll hold your number. I'll even put it in my phone. Here's where I'm at right now. I'm going to wait. I don't really. These tenants have gotten so used to me, so I'm just like, I would probably just wait till their leases are up and work on a program at that point in time, because a lot of them get nervous as soon as they change hands. I don't know. And a lot of my tenants are elderly. So then there's that too. So,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I don't have the real numbers where they belong. So someone may pay me $900 a month and that house is $1,300 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the real numbers is not there. So that could also work against you as well, because if I'm under a contract or something with them.
Yeah.
So
I get that. It's a lot of long term. And just so you know, when we've done it before, where we buy a whole portfolio or sell for that fact, buy a whole portfolio, since you would be at least part of the financing deal, it would be more of a, hey, we're partnering up with
David, yeah.
with David, and together, and so yeah, we can overcome that together if we get to that point. But yes, definitely something to put in your memory bank. And let's continue the discussion. And on this one, our just to cut to the chase, our cash offer would probably be about 70% of value, and our payments over time, it would be probably looking to buy it. We'd probably be close to that 89, but then we'd want to pay you somewhere between $500 and $600 a month net, knowing we're taking care of responsibility, taxes and repairs and maintenance, insurance, and until we paid you out the full 89 or so in cash. So
I got you. Yeah, you got a pretty good picture. You know what it is. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Oh yeah, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. It does have an unfinished upstairs, another 500 square feet. It does have a roof that needs replaced. It's not leaking. It's got a 2-car garage. The roof on the garage needs replaced too. I can't say that it's leaking, but I do see water like on the concrete part. So I just want to say, but I don't see water in the house anywhere. So just to kind of give you, just trying to give you an idea. But those are things that are real. Yeah, like I think 1,000 or greater, as is 1,000. I think it could be greater once you decide to put some money in it. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
So
if we bought it from you for that 89 and paid you out net $500 a month until we paid you off the 89 cash at whatever balloon period, would that be acceptable to you?
Maybe. Let me think on that, because okay, it would be one less headache. I concur. So that's one thing working in my favor. But I just got to make sure that everything else makes sense. But I'm not saying it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me study on that, because I kind of like not having the headache, but I kind of like.
It's addicting having the headache. I get it.
Yeah. Truthfully, luckily, I just haven't put any money in. So really, with this house, it has just been almost free and clear money. Honestly, everything.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pay anything for it when I got it. It was free.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there's no reason to lie about that. 30 years ago, the guy quit claimed it to me and was like, I'm done. But that was when the neighborhood was a little more sketchy, and somebody went in there and got it on fire, and he collected all the money, and then he was actually putting it back, and he got it back to the downstairs, and is clean. Everything's clean and they come back in and they try to do it again.
I'll wrap up answering the last couple of questions I see, so we can get ready to queue those up. Brandon, if you don't mind, any questions you have, put them in the chat with a Q in the front, and I'll answer those before we conclude here in about 5 minutes.
I don't want it. So that's what happened.
Good deal, man. Well, cool. Should I talk about this time or when would you?
Any time is good. I'm like you. I'm self-employed, so it really don't matter.
Yeah.
But you said a cash offer is, and I'm not even saying 89 is retail. I'm saying 89 is the number I wanted. You might get more, you might get less. I don't know if you owned it. Yeah, we can touch base with me. Send me your contact information, and I'll see where I'm at.
I'll text you soon. Hang out, brother.
Talk to you.
All right. Good talking to you. Bye for now. All right. So that is a relationship. The reason I went a little long on that call was for you guys' knowledge. That was David on Keystone. Put to follow up with him tomorrow. And I think we had another follow up in there somewhere. Oh, Patrick. Was it Patrick? Yes, it was Patrick. Patrick put to follow up with him tomorrow. Any questions you have, we can get those on the screen now. That was the last call of the day. I'm going to answer your questions, and I want to give you a quick rundown of the reason I talked to him, because that's a relationship that may be nothing, and that's a relationship that might be a dozen or 2 dozen portfolio, and you be the answer to his prayer and him be the answer to yours. And so that's a relationship worth connecting with. All right. Can we make that just a little bit bigger, Brandon? My LASIK surgery might need an update. Thank you. Have you done bridge loans for closing, and how did that work? I had a piece of land in Memphis, Tennessee, but needed to buy it first to be able to wholesale it to a new buyer. Yes, we both do bridge loans inside the community with the community members, and we have used bridge loans whenever it comes time to wholesale a deal quickly, or when we're, for whatever reason, needing to put down some money. Maybe we're getting a major discount. Let's say we're buying a $200,000 house for $100,000, and they want 30 or 40 down. A bridge loan could get them that 30 or 40 down on the property. So several deal structures there to be had. So in short, yes. Any other questions we have? Type them in the chat. How's your energy? Put it in the chat. I got to see your energy levels before we wrap today. What about how to talk to sellers about seller financing when they aren't looking to sell necessarily? The landlord is just tired of tenants and toilets and taxes. Good question, Mandy. So number one is find out if they want to sell. And a phrase I often use, I will ask them like, hey, would you consider selling them if we were interested? So in other words, would you consider selling if I was interested, if we were interested? Secondly, cut to the chase. Once you start having a chat with somebody like that, I will often use the phrase, I don't want to waste your time or mine. I just want to, find out what you're looking to accomplish. This guy obviously is not a motivated seller in terms of needing to get done with the properties. He's not behind on payments or taxes, but he's motivated in the sense that he's managing a bunch of tenants, and it's kind of his life. And he hasn't really thought of life too much without them. You could tell. And so you're planting the seed of life without managing all those tenants. All right. Any other questions before we wrap? Going once. Guys, thank you so much for being here. David, Yasmin, thank you so much. For submitting the leads. Jane and everyone else who submitted leads. Angela, Joe, and Judith, keep it up. I'm going to wrap us with a quick prayer. I think a midweek prayer would be a good thing. God, thank you for everything. Thank you for this beautiful crew who's on here today, and for the time we got to spend together. I pray your blessings on every one of them. Let us continue to be blessed and bless others and serve in the way we're called to serve. And just thank you for everything, for health and life and breath and air and family and friends and people around us and the luxuries of life that we can easily forget if we're not careful. Just thank you. I love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Brandon, thank you for being here. Give it up for Brandon in the chat. Send a great big round of applause in the chats for Brandon. Thank you for being here, Brandon. Thank you for being here, team. Truca family, everybody on YouTube. It has been an incredible Deal Room Live. We got lots more to cover, but the clock has told us we should wrap it. So that's what we're going to do now. I will be talking to you and seeing you, Truca family, on the upcoming Zooms. Everyone on YouTube, I will see you next week, same place, same time. Thanks for the smile. I appreciate you, team. Be blessed.